Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Hescox back talking to my 7A students. We are continuing on in Chapter 2. This is Section 4. What is the job of the nucleus? The nucleus is in the center of the cell. It is the control center of the cell that contains the DNA, and the DNA tells the cell everything that it has to do. We're going to start talking about the organelles and other structures within a cell, and we'll label and discuss as we go. So an organelle is a small or tiny structure within a cell that has a specific job. The word organelle in itself means tiny organ. The first organelle we're going to look at is the mitochondria. The mitochondria is known as the powerhouse of the cell. It makes energy. We talked about cellular respiration in the last chapter. Cellular respiration is the burning of food to release energy, water, and carbon dioxide. So cellular respiration is what occurs at the mitochondria to give us energy. Vacuoles are like Tupperware. They store stuff for the cell. Some of them can actually squeeze water out of tiny little water paramecium type creatures. They store food, water, and wastes. If we take a look at this structure here, so we've already talked about the nucleus. We've talked about the cell wall or cell. So on this one, a mitochondria is pretty easy to pick out. They're shaped like a jelly bean, and they always show this squiggly line on the inside. Now that's where the reactions occur. So here is our mitochondria. If it's a singular one, there's actually several of them on there, but that would be mitochondrion if it's singular. And then we talked about vacuoles. Vacuoles are storage tanks of the cell. This empty space here would be our vacuole. There'd be other vacuoles there, but that one for sure is definitely a vacuole. On our plant, well, can you guys find the mitochondria? I'll bet you can, because on the plant it looks exactly the same. Mitochondria are interesting organelles in themselves. They have this inner lining where they make our energy. They have their own DNA, they have their own ribosomes inside, and some scientists think that mitochondria may have been tiny little living organisms that became absorbed into larger organisms. So that is our mitochondria. Now this is a plant cell. So the vacuole on the plant cell is really big, and it's filled with water. And it's actually this large structure right through here. It actually goes all the way back into there. And that would be filled with water, and that water holds the plant up nice and strong. It's called turgor pressure. Specifically, we call it the central vacuole. All right, so we have some more organelles to keep going. The next one is called the ribosomes. The ribosomes and the endoplasmic reticulum go very well together. Usually the ribosomes are located on the endoplasmic reticulum. Ribosomes are made up of two tiny little structures, and you have a bottom structure, and then you get a piece of mRNA in there, and then you get this top structure. And the proteins are made in here. These are tRNAs, and they attach these amino acids that go out and make these proteins. So ribosomes make proteins. The endoplasmic reticulum, where you find a lot of them. In fact, they used to be called the transport tubes. They're like these tiny little conveyor belts or highway systems that you can put these ribosomes proteins into these transport tubes and then push them through the cell. Lysosomes are the cleanup crew. They are basically a vacuole that is full of enzymes and large sugars, worn out cell parts, or even things that shouldn't be in the cell can be dissolved with these lysosomes. And they get their name from this lyse, which means to break or to destroy. And there's a type of enzyme called lysozyme that is in your lysosomes and breaks things down. Then the Golgi body is packaged proteins in the form of vesicles. And they're pretty easy to see, and we'll label them here. They always, to me, just look like stacks of pancakes. They're always towards the end of the ER, and you'll see the vesicles coming off. Golgi bodies are like the UPS store. You package it in a box and send it to your aunt in Florida. All right, so to label our ribosomes and ER, the ribosome is hard to see on here, but when I blow it way up, well, that didn't work. When I blow it way, way up, you can see that there's these little dots here, 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 and here, and then go all around here. Those dots are our ribosomes. This structure over here that the ribosomes are on, this folded series of tubes, which is usually very close to the nucleus. So you'd have this structure called the rough ER. Ribosomes are definitely not. ER just stands for endoplasmic reticulum. And towards the end, you have the smooth ER. This structure here, there's our pancakes. This is the Golgi apparatus or Golgi bodies. And this little structure here, or here, or here is a vesicle. And then last but not least, these are probably our lysosomes. You will not find lysosomes on the plant cell. So here's our plant cell. This is still our gold here. We already did the vacuole. Our ribosomes are right here. Then this structure down in here, these are our rough ER and our smooth ER. This is still the ER here. If you have time at home, you can play these interactive games. They're really fun. I'm going to be done here for the day. Make sure that you guys are doing the reading. This is 44 and 45. And the review questions are on page 45. They'll be in the Google Classroom. Until next time.